Well, greetings again. Uh, Today I'm going to do a few short stories about my dad, Sturt Edward Burt the first, and very smart man, very educated. He had a saying that he didn't get mad, he got even. So if you played practical jokes on him, you had to be really, really careful. And he wouldn't forget things. He'd bring things up at the most inopportune times. When I was in high school, he sent me to get his filing cabinet. He was an accountant by education. And the top two drawers were like completely full. So I put in the back to pick up. I tried to get him to let me go buy a rope where I could tie it down, but he didn't want to spend the money. I should have laid it down. Anyways, first curve I go around, that sucker flips out of the back of the pickup, crashes into the pavement. There's papers everywhere. I mean, there's car prints over the top of folders and dirt on stuff, and cups people have thrown out, get mixed back. I pick everything up, stuff it back in there, put it in the truck. And I go back to the Montgomery Ward store and walk in his office, and he asked me, "Well, did you get the filing cabinet?" I said, "Yes, sir. I got the filing cabinet, sort of." He said, "What do you mean, sort of?" And I dropped the handle to one of the drawers on the desk in front of him. Hoo-wee. He did not forget that for a very, 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 very. He never forgot it. I would come home from college or my store when I had it down in Columbia. And the first thing I would do is I'd go to his car and I'd reset all the radio buttons on his car. Now, I wouldn't do it. I wasn't there to drive it. So he'd get back in it. And then Dave and Sandy would get the blame for changing his buttons. I never told anybody this. At least be him. Anyways, Dave, Sandy, that was a mean thing to do because I know he rode your butt back because he'd talk about it. Anyway, sorry. No, I'm not. When putting money in the cash drawer, he always liked to have all the president's faces facing the right direction. And I would put them in upside down, backwards, folded in half, lengthwise sometimes, folded in half, folded in quarters, whatever. Oh, it would just PO me. Then when we lived in Del Rio, he had a Cessna 120 airplane. Paid $1,500 for it. It was a tail dragger. It had to be started by cranking the propeller by hand. And I remember it had a knob on the front that was the throttle. You pull it up and it would speed up and off we'd go. We flew around over the desert and outside Del Rio, and the desert's really big. You don't realize it driving, on the highway over there. How many just horizon to horizon, no roads, no houses, no telephone poles. We chased wild pigs around in it. Anyways, he had a friend that ran the movie theater across the street in Del Rio from his shoe store and malt shop. And name was Jesse. And he took Jesse for an airplane ride. Never been in an airplane. So he gets up and he has this all planned out. He was very methodical. Had wing tanks over each wing. Held two people. And so, anyways, the engine quits. And Jesse said, "What's that?" And my dad says, "The engine quit." "What does that mean?" He said, "Well, if the engine doesn't start," my dad said, "we're probably going to crash and die." Jesse did very funny. So, anyways, he's like totally freaking out. "Where's the parachutes?" Well, there are no parachutes. So, anyways, my dad eventually just reaches up and flips on the other tank over the other wing. The engine starts right up. Had a little practical joke side to him sometimes. He was good at it. You had to be careful messing with him. Anyways, I'm sure that's the first of many. Have a good one.